One of these is a packable Puffy jacket and the other is a packable Puffy cooler. Have you ever heard of such a thing? I know I hadn't. So let's go pack a lunch, go fishing, and try this thing out, shall we?
Gear up and get outside.
All right, first things first. Let's unpack this bad boy. Look at this thing. All stuffs into itself. Those straps out. Come on now. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. We got ourselves there a backpack cooler. Let's find some ice. I know I got some left over from a previous cooler test. Aha! That's probably 7 or 8 pounds in there. Actually, would have been better if I put these in first. I know. Get that ice around them. Do a little switcheroo. 7 pounds of ice sandwich. And let's see if it can keep an ice cream sandwich cold. I'm gonna stuff that down in the ice. Sure, it will be smashed, but hopefully it will be cold. We're in business. Oh yeah, this will be a good spot for lunch and a little fishing. All right, I made it down to the river. Beautiful day. This is the Monti Shasta 23-liter Puffy packable backpack cooler. That's a mouthful of words. My stuff's cold, a little bit smashed, but that's no surprise. Look at that, cold Coca-Cola. Love some cold Coca-Cola. A guy from Monti actually reached out to me last year and asked me if I'd be interested in just checking out this cooler. Of course I said I was, because I'm always interested in coolers, but especially interested in coolers that are different, and this one certainly is. The concept is simple. It's a packable, travel-friendly, puffy cooler. It's made like the puffy vests, the puffy coats, even a sleeping bag that we use so much. But it's a cooler. Why not? Fantastic idea, I really think. I'm just curious how well it works. So that's why I wanted to bring it out for the first time today, by the way. It took me longer to get out here than I anticipated, so it's well past lunch and I'm hungry. So excuse me while I eat my very elaborate sandwich here. So here's a few stats on this cooler just for your information. It's 23 liters in volume. That should hold about 23 cans of beverages, or potentially up to 5 bottles of wine. Before you add ice or food or anything, it weighs just over 17 ounces. That's a little more than a pound, not too shabby. That's actually super lightweight for any cooler. And by the way, if you do put 2 dozen sodas in there, you're not gonna get any ice in there. Right now I've got 6 cans of sodas, sandwich, an ice cream sandwich, we'll see if it's not melted, and then about 7 pounds of ice. 7 pounds is kind of a typical size of a bag of ice you buy at the gas station. Sometimes they're 10 or 20, but 7 is pretty common. So, and 7 pounds of crushed ice just filled it up about halfway, FYI. That's just about right for a day trip. The material here is ripstop nylon. That's what the outside material is made of. Inside, it's like a vinyl material that's waterproof. And then there's a hydrophobic synthetic insulation inside. That's a similar type of synthetic insulation you find in puffy jackets and sleeping bags. It also uses waterproof or water resistant, maybe is a better word, YKK zippers. We'll see if they really keep a leak out. There's gotta be some water in there, actually. Let's just look. I don't see anything dripping. Maybe it really is waterproof. The overall concept of it alone was intriguing to me, that it's just a packable cooler that can pack into itself. On the other side here, it's got this pocket that when you're carrying it around, you can stick your phone or keys or little things in there. But that is what you stuff itself into when you want to pack it away and go, which is really handy for travel because let's be honest, most coolers, including backpack coolers, any soft coolers, whether it's a YETI or otherwise, is going to be kind of chunky. And that makes it hard to pack and take places, especially when it's empty. And a lot of times on a vacation or a camping trip, you want something like this for the day, little day trips or excursions while you're out and about. But it's kind of annoying when you've got this big voluminous thing you got to stick in the back of the sedan. So being able to pack that down small It's really clever. Might even make me inclined to take it on vacation by sticking it in a suitcase even when I'm flying. I was impressed by the comfort of the straps. They're pretty minimalist. There's just some mesh material, but good enough airflow, I guess. And they clip on. All these little plastic components seem to be of good, decent quality. My guess is they're actually made of a nylon, which is a little bit more durable plastic. It comes in a few different colors. This is obviously the green and orange. I kind of like it. There's some lighter colors if you like that. Where the backpack straps attach make it so that, I mean, this side with the pocket is the side you want against your back. And it was surprisingly comfortable. I was worried about if I wore it for a long time or really worked up a sweat that I'd get this pretty sweaty too. And I'm sure that'd be the case. And also having my hot back against this is also probably going to decrease the ice retention, but you'd probably have to have that on your back hot for an extended period of time for that to really make a significant difference. And it's going to compact the insulation down a little bit too while it's on your back. So I don't know if that's a big deal, but functionally, I'm very impressed. Now here's the thing. This thing costs 150 bucks. That's not surprising in the world of coolers. Coolers can cost so much money, it's ridiculous. But 150 bucks might be something to shake a stick at. Granted, this is a small business. Small businesses typically have higher costs. They're not pumping out millions of these things. And it's kind of a novelty item, or at least a new item before it really catches on. So whether or not it's worth that price is probably up to you. But let's compare that to a YETI soft cooler. A YETI soft cooler will cost at least $200, maybe $300 or more for some of the really nice ones. So this isn't entirely outside the typical price range of a quality cooler. And the fact that it's not so big and clunky and chunky just might win me over compared to a YETI backpack, or any backpack for that matter. Previously, my favorite backpack was the Ice Mule Pro. I still think that's a really good backpack cooler. Very durable, very rugged, has that polyvinyl, almost like rubber raft material that it's made of. This is a very different concept, but I think this one is going to get used more than that Ice Mule, at least in my house. I did make a pretty good sandwich, if I may say so myself. These pickles, homemade pickles I got from my sister-in-law, turkey, cheese, lettuce, Chick-fil-A sauce, little secret there, and boiled eggs. You gotta try it. One other thing I find very functional is this flat bottom. When I go to set it down on the ground, it sets up right. No tipping over, no problem, so that's clever. This little hook is gonna allow you to hang it up upside down to dry it out. Drain it out, you know, it's going to be wet and soggy in there, so you don't want to put it away like that. These are easy to hook and unhook. That's kind of handy. Probably even configure that to be like carry it like a sling bag if you wanted. It is a roll top, so I just rolled it over a couple times. That also helps push the air out, at least at the top or inside the cooler. You buckle it, and then as that synthetic insulation expands, that's what gives it added insulation to keep your stuff cold. So can't believe someone else didn't think of this earlier, to be honest. And by the way, full disclosure, Monty did send this to me for free to try out and test. If that bothers you that I got free stuff, I totally understand. But just note that that's one way I've been able to just discover a bunch of really cool gear I probably wouldn't have known about otherwise. So when I do share it, it's because I genuinely like it, or I think it's innovative or interesting or novel, and I just want to share it with you guys. They also gave me this cool hat too, which I thought was awesome. Let's take a look and see if that ice cream sandwich worked. Oh. Very squishy. I'm sure it'll still taste good, but it's rather squishy. I'll still eat it though. This thing appears to be made of pretty quality materials too, I'd say. It doesn't feel cheap or chintzy. I like it. I think it's high quality. I just think that's so clever. Push that air out. Air fills up the insulation. Beaut. Okay, now we're going fishing. Car fishing today. A very easy and relaxing way to fly fish. Well, looks like today is not my day for fishing. Not surprised, I don't have much time. It's hot, middle of the afternoon. Wish I could stay longer, but got a family thing to get to. And my main purpose was just coming out to test that cooler for all you guys. These electric e-bikes sure do make it easy and fun to get around. All right, let's talk about this Monti Shasta cooler. Useful? Yes. Novel? Yes. Quality made? I think so. Overall, it appears to be a pretty functional cooler. In fact, it might be the most interesting and useful cooler I have seen in quite some time. It just seems like the kind of thing I'm going to use much more frequently for many more things than I would some others. But the real test I'm still curious about is how well does it really hold ice? I'm not going to go into one of my fancy ice retention tests, but this thing still has a bunch of ice, 5 sodas in it. I'm just going to leave it outside, and I'm going to see how long it takes before all that ice melts. For reference, it has only been a little more than 3 hours, and look in there. That is still quite a bit of ice, so we've got a ways to go. All right, so I got it zipped up, rolled up, and buckled up, and I'm just going to set it right here in the shade, and we'll check back periodically and see how it does. If you're liking this cooler, or maybe even if you don't, hit that like button for me, would you? And check this out, a little sneak peek of what's coming. Okay, it's the next morning. I was going to check the ice, and look, we got a snail friend who crawled on there. Not a bush, dude. Get out of here. Oh, definitely some water in there. Can feel it. Pretty dark in there, but yeah, there's plenty of ice in there. Those bevies are still real cold. Okay, now it has been 24 hours. Let's look and see. I still feel some coldness. Oh my goodness, look at that. Still plenty of ice. Plenty of ice. Lots of water too, but still lots of ice. That's pretty impressive. Check this out. It's a few hours later and I came and I found this laying over. So I think just with all that water content, it just couldn't hold itself upright anymore. And there's a bit of water pooling up there too. See that? So it's not entirely waterproof. That's good to know. I think that's just seeping out of that zipper. You can still hear there's ice and cans in there still. There's just a bunch of water that snuck out there, so careful to keep it upright, I guess. Okay, now it's the next morning. That's 2 days after I first filled it up. I don't see any ice left. I don't know if you can see in there, but all water, no ice. Got this infrared thermometer. Let's see how warm it is in there. It's saying the can is 50 degrees, 47 degrees in the water, but really that's not too bad. I did give this cooler a jiggle last night and there was still ice in it before nighttime. So that suggests to me that the ice probably fully melted overnight, which means I got about 36 hours of ice retention out of it, day and a half. Let's give some of these plants some extra water with this stuff. And we'll hang it up to dry with its handy dandy drying loop. Now this might not be the right cooler for everyone, and it's definitely not the right cooler for everything I do. For example, it's not going to be great for large groups or long trips. However, for things like taking your bike down to the river to go fishing for the afternoon, and you want some cold drinks and a lunch, perfect. An overnight or solo camping trip, or maybe even for couples where all you need is a handful of drinks, a little bit of cold food, perfect. A beach day, perfect. A music festival, perfect. A day hike, perfect. There are just so many scenarios where this would just be the perfect little cooler to use. And I have a feeling I'm going to be using it a lot more often. But again, I think the fact that this is so lightweight and packs down so small, yet remains functional, does make it more interesting to me than almost all the other soft coolers on the market. It's not going to do everything, but it will do the things it does very well. And I just really love something that's functional and practical. And I think this fits the bill. But what do you think? Is this something you would be interested in? Would you buy it? Where would you use it, or where would you not use it? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious what you all think about this. If you like discovering new outdoor gear that maybe you've never heard about, then sign up for the Honey Hole email newsletter. I think you'll really enjoy it. I got more coolers coming up this summer, so stay tuned for that and any other new gear discoveries I might find. Then gear up and get outside.